I'm a pretty optimistic person, but even for me, it's hard to say that things are not going to get worse. Before we found out who the shooter was, I saw my own friends, family, and just media people in general saying that the shooter was a liberal leftist transgender person. This is before we knew anything.
I'm going to say this. Democrats own what happened today.
That logic, do Republicans own the shooting of the two Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota?
Some raging leftist lunatic put a bullet through his neck, and you want to talk about Republicans right now? No.
Till this day, I see people blaming January 6th on Antifa and the congresswoman in Minnesota's death on some random Tim Walz fanboy. As I say this, there's already so many shootings that occur in America. As this shooting happened with Charlie Kirk, there was a shooting at Denver. So forgive me for not having some optimism, but I just think it's sort of not if but when there's going to be another minority trans shooter. Are we going to feel justified to attack them now? Are we going to cause a lot of ruckus for a shooter when in reality we should be addressing other things like mental health and gun control? But I think the bigger elephant in the room is who we should address. The heat has been turning up for our culture and politics for a while now, but it's definitely been turned up more by the elephant in the fucking room. Our leadership has never taken the fault of violence in our country, even though the leader of our world has a lot more of an impression on people than any video game or movie ever could have. When the Minnesota congresswoman was killed, Trump never ordered the flags to be at half-mast. He also said it'd be a waste of time to contact the families. He was on Fox News today talking about the Charlie Kirk shooting, and I did not see any attempt to try to cool tensions.
I'll tell you something that's going to get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. The radicals on the right oftentimes are radical because they don't want to see crime.
And why are we surprised by this? He pardoned violent criminals. He let Epstein slide, and that's violence right there. That's sexual violence that we're just sort of letting pass because he told the Proud Boys to stand back, stand by. And while the heat's turned up and we're talking about trans people or the culture war, he's cutting Medicare and then giving money to the wealthiest people. And we're supposed to just continue to fight each other. I'm sorry, guys, but the aggressor here is not us. And even when we're not talking about something that he did specifically, there is still a lot of violence in our country. We are a more violent country, relatively speaking, than our first world counterparts. The number one killer for children has been gun violence. We still need to address a lot of stuff, and I just don't see this current leadership addressing it. If anything, I see them blaming elsewhere, like trans people, just because it's sort of a quick fix and it's a boogeyman that can scare you. As we're even talking about this, I remember him saying he wanted to bomb Mexico or take over Panama. And we're talking about how we regret not staying in Afghanistan longer. I think there is nuance to a lot of these discussions, but if we want to talk about who has the most impression on our culture and violence, it's the leadership, it's the president. We can blame video games and murders all day, but the real life ramifications we see of our violent crimes that are not being addressed, our social safety net being cut, and then the wars that seem to be nonstop, I would argue that's going to be more of an impression than anything that I could ever do. Look, we weren't supposed to live like this. The same time I saw Charlie Kirk getting shot, I saw my friend going to a Chris Brown concert. It's some rough times right now, and I don't blame you for turning off. And I think it's okay to say, let's spend time with the fam, ignore the internet, and just live our lives. But eventually we have to address our leadership, and hopefully we can survive the next 4 years.